We have with us today Dr. Shanti Ghosh, who was, as many of you may have heard of her, she was a very fine pediatrician associated in a very important capacity with the health scene in Delhi. And today but there is also another aspect of her life which many of us may not know about, and which is what we'll talk about today, which is her early life, how she grew up in the princely state of Kashmir, her early education. She will give us some glimpses of the kind of culture and social relations that there were between people at that time. And I think most importantly, what it meant to be a young person living in those very important times on the eve of independence and partition. There will be many other issues, especially her participation as a young doctor in the 1943 Bengal famine, which we will go into some detail about. And then later on, also in the 1940s, her, along with her husband, Sudhir Ghosh, who was a very close confidant of Gandhiji and of Sardar Patel, the very important role that they played on the sidelines of the important processes leading up to independence and partition. So we are very happy to have her here with us today.
Thank you.
Welcome. And first of all, I thought if we could start with your earliest recollections of your childhood in what was then the princely state of Jammu and Kashmir, and if you could give us some reminiscences of a kind where you could draw upon what it meant to be growing up as a young person in princely India, the kind of social relations between Hindus and Muslims. If you could just throw some light on that.
Well, what I remember of my very early childhood is frequent transfers of my father. He was an engineer, and so sometimes he was building roads and sometimes he was building canals and so on and so forth. And living in remote areas where there was no source of clean water, we had, I still remember those 4-pitcher arrangement for filtering water, because you could not depend on the water. There was hardly any health service or anything. But there were schools. So one could go to school. I went to one school and my brothers went to another school. And Boy Scouts and Girl Guides. I don't remember much about Girl Guides, but I remember very well my brothers going to, as Boy Scouts, going to their meetings and things of that sort. But it was fun, old-fashioned houses, but with big gardens and lots of fruit trees and lot of leisure and that sort of a thing. Very often we went out with my father on the work site, where we sat by the side and played with stones and played with sand, played with water when the canals were built and that kind of a thing. Naturally, the memories gradually fade away and they are not so accurate as they should be, but some of these things are how one spent one's childhood. So without many amenities of the modern days, we had enough food, we had good water, and we had a lot of family and friends. So it was quite enough at that time.